Stankfest over here is showing the corralled J6er footage again, going, this is nothing. They're just walking around. Nobody even did anything. The same shit. Different.
Thank you, Speaker Mike Johnson.
Thank you for grabbing my Johnson.
Just moments ago, really, he announced that he would be releasing 44,000 hours of January 6 tapes over the next few days. He's already released a huge batch of these tapes. Take a look at this. Do these look like great insurrectionists? Look closely there. They're shaking hands with Capitol Police officers. Now,
yeah, those are the ones that left peaceably. Those are the ones that the cops were making friends with and corralling out.
Here's what I did. The first.
By the way, why are you playing loops this fucking small? I mean, other than the fact that you're sucking off whatever Benny Johnson had access
batch to. Is thousands of hours.
Right. And so I should be convinced by a 4-second loop
of footage. I went through a lot of it randomly, and this is what I found. A lot of walking around. A lot of taking pictures. A lot.
Yeah. After they overran the police officers. I mean, hey, who's to say that everybody who breaks into your house is going to, murder you or sexually assault your family or some of them maybe just want to raid the fridge. Hell, some of them just need to enjoy the comfort of your easy chair.
The selfies. What I didn't see was any real violence. And I was randomly going through hours upon hours upon hours of video, and I think it was probably just about an hour or two ago that...
It's funny that, so you're telling me that the selected, of the 44,000 hours, which has not been released, but the portion released so far that you randomly went through in the first batch is devoid largely of violent acts. You don't find that hinky at all? Mr. fucking, also, where's the fucking time code, dummy? This is end of the day. Why are you getting backwards footage? Are they releasing the end of the day first? Wait, are you thinking that by the time they get to the third release, when they start putting out the shit where the cops are being attacked, that everybody will have just kind of blown off the new footage and aren't looking because they're so busy digging into the 10,000 hours of walking footage from the 2 hours at the end of the day when most people were being herded at that point?
He released this video, and as you can see, this is very...
There, yeah, there's the footage again. Look at the same fucking loop over and over again.
Very typical of what has been released here. So unlike...
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. I'm sure that of the 44,000 hours, this is indicative of the first batch they released.
Speaker McCarthy, who refused to release it, only giving it to a handful of news outlets to pick through it, Speaker Johnson said, you know what? He made a promise to release it, and he did. Now we don't have to rely on others to tell us what happened on January 6th. Now we can rely on citizen journalists to...
Yeah, to watch hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of it and end up realizing that, oh, that guy we said was a fibby. Oh, that guy's from Wisconsin. He's yeah, I've seen him at a Trump rally.
Go through all of this video and go through it. Now, here's the reality.
Yeah, go through all this footage and go through it. I hope you go through it at some point while you're going through
the
it.
Situation. I don't think we'll ever fully know what happened on January 6th.
Yeah, what's the missing part? What really happened? I mean, did anybody even get footage of the UFO that day? I mean, it's all a big fucking mystery.
I don't think we'll ever fully know the involvement of the federal government, but I do know the...
Yeah, well, we know a big portion of it, which was corralling these dumb fucks.
Political persecution.
And by the way, why wouldn't you? If he's releasing all the footage, and you're going to see all these guys and who they were interacting with, you should be able to find the dipshits like the maggot version of Where's Waldo here, walking around in an American flag fucking drape with an orange cap on in case anybody mistakes the top of his head for a deer. Maybe he was talking to a dude that on another video you were certain was an FBI agent, and then you call that fucking guy up and you go, who is that guy you were talking to? Oh, that's Charlie. Oh, well, fuck me. All right, well, I'm not going to tell anybody because then people know just how genuinely full of shit
Is
I am.
very, very real. All you have to do is look at the people you see on your screen there. Many of them arrested, most of them charged with crimes.
Nope.
And some of them sitting in prison right now.
Nope. Not these folks.
We talk about Jake Lang, who's over 1,000 days without any trial, sitting in the D.C. gulag. What about our...
Oh, and by the way, where's he in this footage? Show me the footage of him just walking around.
buddy Jonathan Strand, who's been on this program many times, 32 months for walking through the Capitol just like that, refusing to take a plea deal. How do I know he's politically persecuted? Because the night he called into this program, he was punished for it.
From jail?
And punished harshly. Remember this?
A prison is no picnic. It's not comfortable. It's a painful experience, and it's a shock to the system for someone that has always been, of course, a law-abiding, upstanding citizen, and
until you weren't.
Conducted themselves in such a way that this kind of environment is not natural or expected in any way.
You know, like, I don't know, like some people.
So if I knew it was coming, I knew that the politicization.
Politicization is a very difficult word to say. I like to say, hold on one second. Let's see. Here you go. MAGA Derek Zoolander convicted for role in Capitol riot. John Strand rejected a plea deal and waged an online campaign for vindication. Now he faces a possible 24 years in prison. We stormed the Capitol. It's insane. So proclaimed John Strand in a text after entering the halls of Congress last January 6th. The message was part of a seemingly endless procession of evidence, including photos, videos, tweets, texts, and more, documenting Strand's role in the riot that is displayed before a grand jury at the district court in Washington last week. Strand was convicted on all 5 charges he faced on Tuesday and now faces up to 24 years in prison. His potential sentence is so harsh because he refused to take a plea deal, instead opting to fight the charges against him before a jury and through an absurd online campaign for vindication. Strand, a model-turned-COVID-19 conspiracy theorist, posts regularly on his social media channels about how he's being persecuted, set up a website splashed with glamour shots and links to donate from Gucci to guilty, reads the banner on the site. Okay, 24 years just for that. I'm just saying. Like, holy shit. Strand wore a pair of stylish loafers during closing arguments on Monday, during which his own lawyer called him a poser. According to Stephanie Metzimer of Mother Jones, who was the first to report on the conviction on Tuesday, it didn't work. He was found guilty a day after 4 misdemeanors related to unlawfully entering the Capitol and a felony charge of obstructing official proceeding. The felony conviction itself could put Strand away for 20 years. The silver loafers he wore on Monday were typical for Strand, who seems to have put more thought into styling himself than his legal defense. Let's see. Strand argued during his testimony on Friday that his responsibility to Gold was the reason he accompanied her into the Capitol. Oh, sorry, he was with somebody. He literally made history. Okay, this is it. Okay, Strand's focus seemed to have shifted, pushing COVID-19 conspiracy theories after the pandemic began. He served as a spokesperson and creative director for America's Frontline Doctors, an anti-vax group founded by Simone Gold, who is also his former partner. Strand and Gold were in Washington, D.C. on January 6th and were among the first throng of rioters to breach the Capitol. In a text message to his brother displayed before the court, Strand bragged that he and Gold were with the first dozen patriots to enter the building. We literally made history just now, he wrote. Gold, unlike Strand, accepted a plea deal for a role in the riot, and in June was sentenced to just 60 days in prison and was released in September. Strand argued during his testimony on Friday that it was his responsibility to Gold was the reason he accompanied her into the Capitol, and that he was practically forced into the building by the crowd surging around him. He testified that their relationship was highly imbalanced from the beginning, characterizing Gold, who is quite a few years older than him, as a bully. He was with her both in his capacity as her partner and as her bodyguard, he said. Nevertheless, he admitted that he never tried to stop her as they went to the Capitol, and they worked their way through the front of the crowd, attempting to reach the doors of the House chambers, or when they stopped to film Gold's attempt to deliver a speech. Strand's impeccable image has been presented through the presence of the case and becoming a matter of evidence. Dressed Friday in a dark suit. Okay, blah, blah, blah. There he is with her. There he goes. John Strand, Simone Gold inside the Capitol on Jan 6. She took a plea deal. He didn't. The claim is contradictory. Okay, da-da-da. Strand's impeccable image, da-da-da. He said lack of visible. Okay. The defense argued later that Strand's lack of visible MAGA apparel or tactical gear was an indicator of Strand's lack of intent, and Strand testified that interfering with the certification of the election had never crossed my mind. The claim is contradicted, however, by a trove of contemporaneous social media posts displayed to the jury expressing Strand's displeasure with the results of the 2020 election, many of them featuring a Stop the Steal hashtag. The day after the riot, for instance, Strand posted an image of himself outside the Capitol on Twitter with the caption, "I am incredibly proud to be a patriot today, to stand up tall in defense of liberty and the Constitution, support Trump and MAGA forever, and send the message. We are never conceding a stolen election." In another tweet posted days before the attacks, Strand wrote, "Seriously, this is what the Insurrection Act is for. This is war. Trump maverick, the election was rigged." The mountain of evidence against Strand forced him to resort to tactics like requesting trial be moved out of D.C. because of liberals. Mr. Strand would not be judged by his peers, but by his political foes. Strand's decision to go on trial was doomed from the start, as but it's allowed him to cast himself as a martyr. Yeah, okay. So his essential argument, this guy, is that ultimately it fucking Simone Gold made him. That was his actual defense.
Of January.
So he was a boy toy of Simone Gold, and she made him enter the Capitol and do shit. That was his defense.
6 and the Washington D.C. district was such that I was not innocent until proven guilty. I was guilty until proven convicted.
Look, folks, I'm
guilty until proven convicted. Well, if you're convicted, that means you've been proven guilty. I mean, I was, guilty until proven innocent is the. Yeah.
I'm not going to give up on Jonathan Strand.
I don't doubt it. I think you guys have a great future together. I think, obviously, it's like an episode of Twins looking at you guys.
And I'm not going to give up on the other political prisoners.
He's not a political prisoner. He's not in there because of his politics. The woman he was in there with was guilty of all the same shit, and she did 60 days.
Here's the reason why.
Okay, here's the reason why this asshole thinks it's okay to beat and tase police officers, injure their spines, break their hands, cut them, beat them, all that kind of shit. Why that's necessary.
After that phone call, Jonathan Strand had all his phone privileges pulled from him. After his former boss, Dr. Simone Gold, came on.
You mean he ghosted you? I'm just saying, Grindr isn't what it used to be. They should have like a little warning on there or something.
On the program, right? To tell us about that, he was thrown into solitary confinement. Congressman Matt Gaetz calls it the worst form of abuse that he has seen so far when it comes to these January 6th prisoners. So as you look at the video.
What is this? What are we supposed to see here? Him knocking on the door? He's with a large group of people who are there to murder someone?
On your screen, and we'll go to the video that Kevin McCarthy released if we can. That Speaker Mike Johnson released, the interior video, guys, if we can, the newly released video.
Wait a minute. What the fuck is that cut? The fuck? Dude, try harder. Holy shit. That's not even the same goddamn door.
That Speaker Mike Johnson released, the interior video, guys, if we can, the newly released video. There we go. If you look at that video, that is the video that I want to go viral. I want everybody in America to look at it and see that by and large, these men and women were patriots, they were peaceful, and they were patriotic. I'd rather...
Based on what? Based on the fact that they were the last ones through the fucking door, and by that time they had no hope that this would work, and they knew they'd be in deep shit, and they were just being herded out the other fucking door.
That go viral, then this go viral. TikTok videos. Check out this, cut 2.
Reading this letter, it becomes
now to go into the Osama bin Laden letter. Like, this is the parallels.
Apparent to me that the actions of 9/11 and those acts committed against the USA and its people were all just the buildup of our government failing other nations.
My voice He's just wants to leave.
Folks, I don't know what the end of that was, but this is all about this letter to America from Osama bin Laden.
All right, fuckwad. Listen, you're not going to play like loops of assholes on TikTok as if that's a real fucking thing. It's just an excuse to put this dickhead's picture on screen while you play like lumbering loops of maggots on Jan 6 to avoid showing the violence they engaged in on that day. Get the fuck out of here. No. Like, imagine, like, think about what we saw in that clip, by the way. What the stuff he ran through. The loop of the people just walking. Then he shows that other dude, Sands, who, you know, is like wouldn't take a plea deal and is getting sentenced. And then cutting to a picture of him outside the door, footage of him outside the door, followed immediately by people just walking peacefully through a different door as if those are tied together. Fucking hell. And yes, fuck Osama bin Laden and his bullshit. I don't think I have to remind the people in my audience, but if Osama bin Laden was allowed to run the world, women would have to cover themselves from head to foot anytime they went anywhere, and they would need a male chaperone from the family anytime they wanted to go anywhere, and that gay people would be hung from, you know, in the town square as a warning to other gay people. Fuck that noise. Stop. It's not even like, and the idea that the people who happened to be in the fucking towers that day deserve to take the brunt of whatever negative backlash there was to American foreign policy. Most of the fuckers in that building were, I mean, there were tons of like permanent residents. There's a bunch of people who weren't even citizens. Yeah, TikTok's fucking malware. And this, I mean, you could argue that this dude, Stank's show is effectively malware in the same way.